Alright, so what happens when you have a dragon fruit like this that's completely overgrown but with no flowers or fruit? But did you guys know that pruning your dragon fruit can actually encourage new flower growth and fruit development? So in this video, I'm going to show you how to prune your dragon fruit so you get more flowers and fruit. So let's garden on. So I definitely have a lot of work ahead of me because this is just crazy. I just let life get in the way and haven't really taken the time to prune this dragon fruit. So there's 3 different varieties in here. There's Purple Haze, Dark Star, and there's one mystery variety that I'm not sure what variety it is because it was given to me. But this is my first dragon fruit, so these 3 varieties. Then I added a red mystic dragon fruit, a yellow dragon fruit, and then your standard pink skin dragon fruit that you get in the grocery stores. But those are in different containers. But these 3, Dark Star, Purple Haze, and a mystery variety. But the main one are Dark Star and Purple Haze that are the largest dragon fruit that are taking up most of this space. So basically I gotta clean this up so I can encourage it to flower. But the other thing to note about Purple Haze and Dark Star is that it's self-sterile. So that basically means that you need the pollen of a second variety to be a pollen donator. That way these 2 varieties can produce fruit. Otherwise, they're not going to produce fruit. So that's why it's important to get multiple varieties. Like I mentioned, I have that red mystic, which is self-pollinating. The yellow dragon fruit is self-pollinating. And then that your standard pink dragon fruit, pink skin dragon fruit with white flesh, that is also self-pollinating. So I can use the pollen from those varieties to pollinate Purple Haze and Dark Star. So first up with pruning this dragon fruit, I'm going to start with these lower branches because they're actually taking up energy from the more mature branches that could actually produce fruit. And plus, these branches aren't getting as much sunlight and they're not as strong. So it's better to prune these. That's what I'm going to start with. And you might be wondering, why did I let all this growth go crazy? Well, I've been dealing with a lot of stuff in my life, like my dad has dementia right now. I've been trying to deal with guardianship lawyers and everything. So you gotta get everything settled because he didn't have anything planned out. So don't judge me too much for not keeping track of this and cleaning everything up regularly. But I'm trying my best. Sometimes life gets hard and gets in the way. So basically just prune away some of these lower branches. There's no really need for them. You can also use these branches and propagate them to make new plants. Maybe give them to some friends. I want to consider that. Yeah, the more you let this just go, the harder it's going to be. Unfortunately, that's the situation I'm in. So this is a rolling dragon fruit planter from Vego. If you want to check them out, I'll have a link in the description. But the good thing about this, it has wheels on it, so you can move it around a little easier. Alright, so I cleaned up the bottom portion. I think it looks a little better now. It's going to help the plant save some energy so it can produce fruit in other parts of the plant. So the next thing we're going to do is look for like second leaders. So I'm going to look for main leaders and then remove second leaders like this right here. See this? Don't want this, so I'm going to remove that. Here's a second one. I guess you can call it a second leader. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what other kind of name you would call something like that. But it's really starting to go crazy. Look, it's going all up past the fence and into the tree. So I got to remove some of these. See if I can reach this one. So this branch right here is growing too crazy up past the fence. So what I can do is just go ahead and tip this. That way it'll produce, more growth along the stem and potentially produce flowers and fruit. Let's go ahead and cut this back. Also, this stops it from growing any longer too, and it's going to potentially produce flowers and fruit along this stem now. So since this is a rolling planter, I tend to take it either in the garage or inside. Last year I took it in the house. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do that again this year, but pruning this dragon fruit would make that a lot easier to get this either in the house or in the garage. Right now as is, there's just too much growth to just move it. So pruning it is essential. Look at that right here. So this definitely needs to be taken off. We'll see. Cut that about right. So I don't know if you can see it, but this one right here is another like secondary branch that I'm going to remove because it's just not getting enough energy. And so basically I want to save the energy for this main branch right here that's thicker and looks like it has more potential to produce fruit. So let's just go ahead and sacrifice this branch and save the energy for this other branch. Go to tip this part right here and kind of long. Same with these other parts. Go about that one there. So right now it's August. I'm in Houston. We have a longer growing season. So that's why I'm pruning it now, because I want to try to help this dragon fruit encourage more flower growth before the end of the season. So hopefully I get some flowers and fruit before December. That's probably about the time when I'm going to have to start protecting this plant. All these branches are getting kind of long, so that's when I want to start tipping them. So then these branches will start to get thicker and produce flowers and hopefully fruit. Or tip this one right here. Remove this. Don't be afraid to get in here and, you know, do some work. You might get poked a little bit, but really it's not going to hurt you that much. A long leggy piece that's just taking up energy. So I think this looks a lot better now. This dragon fruit is much more manageable, and hopefully with pruning like what I just did, my dragon fruit will produce flowers and potentially fruit before the end of the season. And since I'm in a long growing season, that's definitely possible. But just subscribe and follow along to see how my dragon fruit grow throughout the rest of the season and beyond. Look at all these cuttings. So you can potentially go ahead and propagate all of these and either make more dragon fruit or maybe even give them to friends. But let's go work on some of my other dragon fruit plants and prune those too. So like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, that first dragon fruit variety was self-sterile, but this dragon fruit right here is self-pollinating. So what I would do is use the pollen from this dragon fruit and pollinate that self-sterile varieties, those two self-sterile varieties. So I also want to do the same thing to this dragon fruit so I can help this one produce fruit as well, or encourage it to develop flowers so it can produce fruit. But basically, when I bought this last month, it had a bunch of flowers on it, but unfortunately it looks like it wasn't pollinating correctly because probably at the nursery they just weren't there when it opened up, because dragon fruit flowers, they open up at night. So typically you have to hand pollinate them if you're not in an area that has pollinators, say like moths and bats. That's what typically pollinates dragon fruit. And if you don't have the right kind of moth or bat in your area, you have to go out at night and hand pollinate these. So basically what I'm going to do is tip some of these because they're getting kind of long. That way it can use its energy into producing flowers and fruit rather than more vegetated growth. So as you can see, these are kind of long too. So yeah, same thing, tipping some of these, pruning some of the growth. So especially this one right here, this is getting really long. Let's go ahead and cut that right there. Also, when I got this dragon fruit, I repotted it. You'll see a video on my channel. I'll have a link in the description. But they had rocks at the bottom of their pot. That's not something you want to do. So that's one of the biggest gardening myths out there, is that you should put rocks at the bottom of your pot to help with drainage. That actually, you know, does the opposite. Because basically what you do when you add rocks to the bottom of your pot is you're trapping water above the rocks. That way the water can't really drain correctly. So you're basically putting yourself at risk for root rot if you put rocks in your pot. So I basically cut this dragon fruit out of that pot and put it into one of these Vego rolling planters, which is much better. Alright guys, so hopefully all this pruning I did today helped my dragon fruit plants save energy and produce flowers and hence fruit before the end of the season. I'm really looking forward to getting fruit. Hopefully I get fruit this season, but if not, I'll just overwinter these dragon fruit plants again. I'll show you how I do that in a future video. But if you found any information in this video helpful today, please consider leaving a like and subscribing for more gardening videos. Till next time, I'll catch you on the flip side of the garden. Thanks for watching.